Hey everyone, and welcome to the Martial Mind Podcast. I'm John, I'm joined by Ed and Ryan, and today we're going to talk about some sparring tips. The monk who founded the Shaolin Temple, Ryan, got his beads at a moving up ceremony, which is pretty badass. And also we've got some video reactions for you, so stay tuned. Alright boys, so we're back for another one. How you guys feeling today?
The voices are loud today.
They're loud and
They're
unforgiving.
screaming. They're always screaming.
Just, why aren't you better? Why aren't you better? No, it's all good, man. I totally know that feeling. We're just had another great week of training. Last night, me and the intermediate class, we did an awesome, really cool snake set. Mm-hmm. Really felt like I was in the deep water with that one, but that's how you're supposed to feel, right?
Yeah, no, especially like Sifu Greg ran class, right? So yeah. So I mean, like you want to be at a point at times where you feel out of your depth. You know, like that's how you learn. That's how you learn new movement is by trying things you've never done before. And unfortunately, that's not comfortable.
No.
Yeah.
You know, I've been in plenty of those classes. Jenny was telling me about it. I wanted to be there, but I had a work emergency that I had to go deal with. So unfortunately, I couldn't be in class last night. But it is what it is. So then. Yeah, no, especially the animal sets is like some of my favorite classes is when like you show up and it's like, all right, we're doing some movement stuff, and then you just do a bunch of really sick techniques you've never seen before. Right. And try to remember it. You got to try to remember that stuff, which is hard. It's hard. There's lots of sets in my phone, like I need to go over. We take lots of little videos and stuff, and it's I forgot about that. And then you go to go over it, and then when you do learn the form, or when you want to come up with your own thing, like those movements become part of your repertoire, and it's
it's all about just integrating it, being able to having your kind of planning your practicing schedule and plan be like flexible and open and fluid to allow in new stuff. It's good to have like a good structured base, but I think that's one of the things, especially with Kung Fu, is that there is so much to practice that it's it's just you kind of need to be ever expanding. Like it's good having a good basic structure to kind of always be going back to, but I mean, again, it's like a new set, or we had a staff class that was like I felt really shitty. I got to go over staff more. I had that the other day, was it maybe 2 or 3 advanced classes ago, where we did staff, and I'm just like, man, I have not like moved my staff like this around in a while. Like I gotta really, like I just like did not feel good while I was doing it. So stuff to think about.
We had a staff class where like I was dying, and I was like I was sore for days. My legs were sore for days because I was just like pushing my stances super low. And there was like an understash who like wasn't holding great stances, and then was like, yeah, I know. I was kind of proud of myself that my heart rate wasn't that high. Like, I'm surprised you were really out of breath, and I'm just like, just gonna not say anything and just walk away. It's like because I was fucking working that hard, you know.
That is one of the things. I mean, it's weird. It's like it's technically true with kind of any sort of physical activity, but I think I've noticed it especially in the school where like you'll see beginners or like or people that are newer to the school, and like they'll be taking class, and like it's almost funny because it's like sometimes the advanced people will be getting a better workout than the new people will, because the new people are like.
Yeah, well,
sitting in stance like this isn't hard. It's like because you're not sitting in the stance. Like, what do you like? It's so much of the work,
but that hurts. It's not comfortable.
A lot of it is self-generated. A lot of it is like, okay, you can not sit in the stance, or you can sit in the stance for the 2 minutes, or like if Sifu was talking and walking around making corrections while we're sitting in a stance, it's like, of course we all kind of inch up for a second and come back down. But it's a lot of it is like, okay, am I going to sit in this and let it suck for like the 30 seconds that he's going around and correcting people? Or am I going to kind of get up for the whole time and make that a part of my repertoire of practicing? I'm like, oh, all right, break. All right, now back in. And, it really sets the pace and the intensity for class. And the issue is that becomes a very learned behavior for yourself of like how you approach class and how you approach exercise and how you approach that, the mental resistance.
Right, you get out of it what you put in. So if you can just like... suck it up and sit as low as you can and just suffer for the time that you're in there. And I think there's it's kind of like when you have a profession like yours, for instance. Like, I can edit that for you in an hour, but it took me 10 years to be able to edit it in an hour.
Oh, yeah.
So you're paying me $3,000 to do this job, So
efficiency comes with experience.
Right, exactly. Exactly. And so it's the same in a way, kind of thing. Like at least my brain's relating it together because you can take an hour class and burn 1,000 calories, or you could take an hour class and burn 500 calories, and you all did the same exercises, technically.
Yeah. Yep.
And so it really all depends because, for me, just as an example, like, I can really put myself through the ringer and not get injured, but be dead, and John might get hurt because he's been training for 6 years less than I, or 6 or 7 years less than I have.
Sure.
So, like, I have all that experience in the technique and knowing when I'm done, when I'm sore, or when I'm actually injured, because it's all happened before. And it's just like, so we had wanted to get back to in the end of 45, because 46 we had already written when we did 45, so we recorded it already. And this episode we get to like kind of go back to 45 and tie up some loose ends. One of the loose ends I wanted to tie up that ties into this is, I believe it was 45, where I said that you'll get twice as much out of practicing on your own than you will going to class. And I kind of misspoke. And what I meant by that is that you need to go to class so that you know what you need to work on your own time. And if you actually work that stuff on your own time, you will get much more out of your classes. Does that kind of make better sense? 100%. I think the way that I phrased it made it sound almost like you don't need to show up to the school.
You're not overvaluing work time outside of the school versus class time, but you're saying that compared to someone who only goes to class 2 or 3 times a week versus someone who goes to class even once or twice a week and works 2 or 3 days a week outside of school, you're going to get, because with class, because basically what you're saying, there's just the reality of, like, the teacher has to accommodate for the 15 people that are in class and they have an hour and a half, or like for you, you can accommodate that hour or two or even less time than that you're working on yourself for exactly what you need and work on it for as long as you need with whatever pace you need. So it's more singular, customized, personalized training that can really focus on what you need. Where class, that's also what makes class challenging, is it's sometimes a lot of stuff that can be outside of your comfort zone and outside of your potential skill level and kind of be more on that horizon line, which is, so that's why it's kind of more, I think you're more hinting at the idea of the outside, having a complementary relationship of making it to class and then also having that outside time to really excel and really be able to explore your potential.
Right.
From that you can get hints of from training in the school. It's more of being in class is more of a litmus test, I think, of how you're training in general. I think that's maybe a good way to put it.
100%.
Going home and working on the stuff you learn in class really is like that cornerstone. It's where you hone your tools and your skills, and that's really where it all starts to make sense, I find, because you really have time to slow down and break it down and work at your own pace, where, like, there's utility in just figuring it out, being in class and just following along, and eventually you start to get it, but, like, being able to for me at least, slowing down and picking it apart and seeing, like, oh, well, like, this is what goes here and this goes there. Like, for me, that's really constructive too, and putting that work in certainly has a lot of benefits.
I completely agree with that, and I think almost, I was thinking of a good analogy even to like what you were saying is with that with all that honing and everything. It's almost like if you were just going to class and you went to class just for 10 years, that's like just completing like the main quest of a game. It's like, yeah, you're good far, but then there's like, but then thinking about that person who does all of that and then also does all of the side quests as well.
You gotta do the side
how much
quests.
More fucking gear they have, how much better like all their stats are, and it's like it is like you're at the same finish line in that 10-year period, like existentially, but your skill level and your understanding is, and your context of the understanding the movement and the knowledge about it is completely different. It's completely different.
Yeah, like, I never take anyone seriously that says it beats Skyrim, but only the story mode. It's like, well, you didn't, what? There's like
I've
90% of the game.
I've put hundreds of hours into Skyrim and, like, never touched the main story.
Oh, dude.
Then you're playing it right.
Yeah,
Dude,
I've never, my brother's like, you've never beaten Skyrim? I'm like, there's no time. There's no time to beat Skyrim.
There's so many things to do.
No, you're absolutely right.
It's like when you go, you leave the village and there's like a bunch of vampires and you're like, wait a minute.
Hold on.
This is going to go down a fucking rabbit hole here.
Well, that's like in Skyrim, like...
Oh, now this character's a fucking vampire and this is annoying now. It's time to start a new one. You're awake. Like...
Because I finished the main game, but then like now like I would just
Khajiit,
go to
Khajiit,
like...
Redguard, High Elf, Wood Elf, Khajiit, Redguard, High Elf, Wood Elf. 4 hours later, I made a Nord.
Just not even anything that you started with.
Now what do we name him?
Oh my
I have to take tomorrow off work.
His name is Stormbrewer Whistlecock.
Just 12 hours to just name him like that,
It's
or like
Jimmy Whistledick.
yeah. Yeah.
He's a blacksmith.
But like I would go to like different like after I finished the main quest, it would just turn to me moving to like different areas of the map that have like a node of a place that I've been to, but a lot of area unexplored. And I was just like, let me just walk around. And like I would do like I did the main quest, but I did I didn't do other like big site, like I did the Mages College, and I did like I didn't do like the was it the Champions Guild of the World?
Yeah.
I didn't do those. So like you'd go into I'd go into a cave, and then like it would clearly be like the end of a second main quest. And I'd just walk in, I'd be like, is there any cool loot here? And it'd be like, after 500 years, and I'm like, I'm gonna go, and they're like, damn it!
Yeah.
A new hand touches the beacon.
Yeah. A new hand touches the beacon.
Fuck! I hate that quest so much. You must wield Dawnbreaker. It's like, fuck! I gotta do this.
But I'll walk in and someone will just like, ooh, and I'm like, I'm not supposed to be here yet.
Yeah, there's just like magic and lasers and arrows flying. And you're like, the fuck is happening in here?
They're like, you're here too early. I'm like, oh, okay, you missed your cue. It's like, fuck, okay. But yeah, that's so many times where they're like, you can't do this yet. It's like, you can't, like, this is for a quest. And I'm like, oh, like you walk in like at the end of like, it's like going to Disney, going like behind the scenes. You just see like Mickey taking his head off. You're like, I'm not
lighting a cigarette.
I'm not supposed to be back here. This guy
Hey, kid, get out of here.
Yeah, Mickey's chain smoking American spirits. I gotta leave.
Back to the topic at hand, though. So, as somebody who travels a lot, do you have any tips or advice for anybody who is having a hard time taking like 10 or 15 minutes for themselves? Or like, what are some things that have been working for you as you have like the longer treks on the road lately?
And also
like,
struggles with traveling, too.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I mean,
good and bad.
It's there's a lot of struggles with traveling inherently. Just like it's exhausting, dude. Like even getting on a plane and being a passenger and like a full day of traveling, it's like, yeah, no, I'm not driving. I'm just sitting in his chair for like 4 hours. But like something about that, just like it really takes a lot out of me.
I'm a good friend. You can come to me with stuff, and I'll be here for you, and I'll listen to you. But there's still like always an element of like underneath everything that I say, if like, don't be a bitch. You know what I mean? And then I felt like I did that to John for a while, and then I did a weekend. I did a weekend in North Carolina and came back and was exhausted, and I was like, I'm so sorry for everything I've ever said to you. Like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, but you traveled on hard mode though.
Yeah,
I
did.
You got a rental, drove all the way down there in like short turnaround. So like, yeah, that's gonna murder your face.
Yeah.
Like this. So you felt that firsthand, a good schmack from traveling.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
I went to Phoenix in August too, and like I worked out hard while I was in Phoenix, but like I can get it because I wasn't, doing a 15-hour game sitting down. I was in classes where I got to move around and stretch and go to, so it was different. It's different.
Right. And so, like, I mean, one thing I like to do when I travel is that I'll travel late in. So, like, I'll have, like, a 6 p.m. flight. This way, you get there, go to bed. Just, like, it's exhausting, just tuck it in. So this way you got the whole beginning of the day while you're home to take care of your shit. Like, assuming that you allot a full day for traveling, So, like, you can get in a routine before you get on the road. This way, when you're wiped, there's no, like, I'm too tired, It's like, you're where you need to be, go to bed, And depending on your schedule, like, there's always time in the hotel room, and there's always room, at least to get some stretching in. So one thing I was doing when I was on the road in Fort Worth is that on my lunch break, I was going outside and I was doing some Qigong. Just like those are very long shifts for me. I was there from like 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. So I had a couple of lunch breaks. And it was kind of cool because the first break I went outside and it was daytime. And the second break I went outside and it was not daytime. It was nighttime. So just doing Qigong and doing some breathing, even just stretching. If you got 30 seconds just to get up out of your chair and just stretch, it's like literally like that's baseline minimum. It's productive. It's good. You don't have to do full Kung Fu forms. But like I really do try to find a spot just to get my hamstrings loosened up or do a couch stretch, like put a cushion down on the floor. Like if there's like any chairs or like roll up my sweater and put that down on the floor and use that as a cushion for my knee if I'm doing a couch stretch.
And one thing I like too is like real quick, like sit in a perfect horse stance. Cause like for me, I don't know if you guys feel this, but like sometimes you want to get down there and your hips are kind of preventing you and you just kind of get down there and settle into that horse stance, get your SI joint and your lower back kind of like settled into that perfect position and hold it until your muscles start to go. Just like a quick, like 30, 40 second horse stance. That helps too, just to keep that hip mobility going too.
Yeah, definitely. And you don't need a lot of room to do a horse stance either. It's just literally just a little more than shoulder width and you're good to go. So even if you're in like, like a Super 8 on the side of a highway and there's like tractor trailers speeding by your little room entrance, which was happening to me when I stayed in New Jersey one night a few years ago. That was cool.
Before
Definitely
you take your
dangerous.
4 to 7 In-N-Out animal style burgers back up to your hotel room.
Yeah, animal style it is. Cowabunga it is. No, but there's plenty of things you can do. And like I said, traveling in late that first day is huge. This way you have most of the day to yourself and you can actually be productive and not be wiped out from traveling. And then just find time to stretch at least. It's really not difficult just to find a spot to stretch and get a horse stance in. I think that can help you out a lot if you're traveling a lot and struggle to find any room for Kung Fu. Those are 3 very easy ways to include it in your trip.
And follow good people too. Like honestly, like curate your feed. Yeah. Curate your feed.
Yep.
Unfollow people. Use the I don't want to see this buttons. Like, there's a lot of conspiracy out there about like they're trying to fucking make you whatever, but like you're choosing it. Mm-hmm. They're tricking you into picking it. That's what's actually happening. It's not necessarily
using your brain chemistry.
They're definitely listening to you and they're definitely advertising to you based on like what the microphone is picking up, but it's also small things within the algorithm. What your eyes sit on. For 10 seconds as opposed to
those
5 seconds.
Make a difference.
And it literally knows every time your thumb stops for a second, it goes, why do they look at this more often? Let me show them more of this. And it's to keep engagement, to keep you finding things that you enjoy. But there is a nefarious thing about it because they want you to spend money and they want people to... There needs to be value in paid advertising for people to continue to pay for advertising because that's how they make their money, right?
Sure.
So that's what these algorithms are for. So if you curate your feed where, like, for me, like, I'll be scrolling, and then I get stuck in some bullshit because, you click a video and then it gives you like videos like that, and then you get stuck in a phone hole for like 10 to 15 minutes, and then you get back out of it and go to your feed, and the next thing you know, I have David Goggins talking to me, or I have Jocko Willing talking to me, or Vanja Moves, Vanja, I think it's dot moves, but I'm sure if you put in the search bar, she'll come up. She's a... like a female mobility coach, unbelievable strength and flexibility, and just like really great like tips. And like you watch her videos and they're like straightforward, to the point. This is what I'm doing. Look at how fucking mobile I am. If you want to get like this, do my class or whatever. But it just makes you like, you watch her move and you're like, oh, that looks good right now. And you want to get up and do something and get up and stretch. Just so like you have... So that's a good one to follow. Vanja Moves is a good one to follow. I think I'm saying that correctly. Knees Over Toes guy is a great one to follow.
Naturally. That's our boy.
Yeah, it's a really good one to follow. Joe Rogan is not a good one to follow because it'll just be like, hey, here's some fucking elk. You know what I mean?
I'm eating jerky.
I got an episode out. For somebody who works out so much, he posts 0 workouts, which is kind of hilarious.
Well, he's not a fitness influencer.
He's not a fitness influencer,
He's a comedian. Okay.
Yeah, but I understand, like, that's like my time. That's why I don't really take too many videos in the gym anymore either. Nevertheless, it's definitely a good way to like keep yourself from falling too deep down the rabbit hole. Okay.
And one thing I was going to say regarding like social media, like curation and like the algorithm, the almighty algorithm, is that like, well, as a lot of you guys might know already, I'm sort of like the mad scientist of the podcast. Like, this is my apartment. This is kind of like, I'm the computer guy, I got a freaking server in the back room. And one of my hobbies I'm kind of trying to learn is how to work with Linux. And so I've been throwing on like...
a hobby?
I've tried... Yeah, I like learning computer stuff. And so like I put in like... I just let Linux videos play on YouTube, but I select them. And then if it goes in autoplay, it'll change the topic. Like it'll go to like, oh, Tom Segura, funniest moments, or like... But it'll never put me back on the Linux... Like, the Linux Railroad, And so, but the second I put on something goofy, the algorithm catches and just like fucking, just like all of a sudden I'm 40 minutes into memery. But like, but it's weird, like programming that algorithm. I feel like it takes more work because like I'm like annoyed that it's like there's some guys that really like this guy Techno Tim. He's awesome, and like I've learned so much from this guy. But if I just like put it on autoplay, then all of a sudden it goes back to memes. It's like, no, this is really useful shit. Like this is a skill set that I want to get good at. Like, why the fuck are you showing me, like, dog memes? I love dog memes, but, like, this is not what I'm on. So I do feel like there is kind of a man under the hood with the algorithm. Like, I really think there's something going on there. I don't know what it is, but I think it's easier to show us dumb shit than smart shit.
Well, because you're going to stay... It wants to keep you engaged. And fortunately, unfortunately, like, it knows that it's... not. I don't know why I said that. It's not fortunate at all. It's completely unfortunate that it knows that. And entertainment is going to win over education every time.
Yeah, but
every time.
That's the element that I'm talking about. It's like there's something at play.
That is the nefarious thing that I was referencing earlier. That is 100% like nefarious. And whether it's nefarious on purpose or it's inadvertently nefarious, you know?
I mean, entertainment shit, funny stuff gets clicks. It's really that simple.
I would say it's probably inadvertently nefarious. Not probably fully, but I think a lot of it is, which is almost worse because it's just kind of this blind... I hate using these types of terms because I don't mean it. I don't usually... I'm not coming from this place that I think a lot of people who say stuff like this are, but like a more consumerist, capitalist type, like where they're like, well, that's just what the people want. Let's just give the people what they want.
Crack cocaine.
Yeah, and it's just like, and it's like heroin, tits, and it's just like that's what
Reese's
they want.
peanut butter cups.
Yeah, literally, and it's just like. And then it's just
heroin, tits, and Reese's peanut butter cup.
Very specific candy choice.
The American dream. There it is.
You put that between ciabatta and you'll throw up.
On a white picket fence and 2.5 syringes full of fentanyl.
My ancestors came here on a boat through Ellis Island for heroin, Reese's peanut butter cups, or whatever else you just said. Because I got goldfish brain, bro.
But
I came over on the Mayflower to eat cheeseburgers and die.
Yeah.
That rock is not impressive. Yeah. It's little. It's a little rock.
To be able to eat an entire brick of cheese and call the police on neighbors that I don't like.
I remember being a little kid. I've always been really into like cooking and food. My grandmother had me on the stove when I was like 5 years old, teaching me how to make sauce. I've always been really into like food. Like I was a little kid that would like try stuff and go to restaurants and be like, "Ooh, they make truffle fries?" Like, you know. I'm the guy from Ratatouille. Just sorry. But I remember we went to New England, my mom and I was like 9. And my mom was single my whole childhood. So it was just the two of us on this trip up to New England. And she takes me to see Plymouth Rock. I remember seeing Plymouth Rock and being like, there's like clam chowder here, right? Because we're in New England. Like, can we just go like get that? Because this is kind of lame. You know, like
super.
I'm pretty sure lame. I'm all normally 9, but this is
like
clam chowder, right, Mom?
I'll put it to you this way: I have vivid memories of eating the soup. I don't remember what Plymouth Rock looks like at all.
It's like this big.
Yeah.
It's definitely a rock, that's for sure.
And I remember being like, I can't touch it. That's lame. All right, let's go.
This is dumb.
You know.
What were we gonna say, John?
No, just a funny New England memory. Me and Carrie went to Boston, and I made her try oysters for the first time.
Ooh.
And I tried to convince her, like, hey, I love oysters.
Touch of hot sauce. You need that little.
Yeah.
This is the best place to get oysters. I think it wasn't the Acme Oyster House. I think that's in the city. It was I forget the name of it. Doesn't matter. Fried oysters. I loved them. She tried one, immediately became angry, nauseous. She's like, "What? Why did you do that to me?" It's just like so upset. I'm sorry, Carrie. I love you, but if your girl tells you she doesn't like oysters, she definitely doesn't like oysters.
Don't feed her oysters.
That's one of those foods. If they don't like it, they know that they don't like it. They definitely don't like it. Like don't.
It's worth trying things a couple times.
Yeah, but
they're good.
I mean, like
they're good.
John's like, no.
The wrath of Carrie. Just like, don't fucking do it. Don't make that mistake. It's like, hey, you want to try like some like this is elk. It's like steak but cooler. Like, all right, I can do. You want to try oysters? I don't like oysters. You sure? I'm sure you're gonna like them. I don't like oysters. They don't like oysters.
They're ocean boogers. What do you mean you don't like them?
If they were made a different way, whatever. Anyway,
they're not made to come out of the shell. It's like, hey, how you doing?
We're gonna get caught on a tangent.
No, I'm not going off of that. I'm going off back to what I was saying with the social media thing. But I think kind of like what I was saying, where it's just more of like we are being dumbed down, and our attention span is, I think at this point, probably less than a goldfish. Where it's like. And then that's feeding the algorithm, and then the companies are looking at, the technology companies are looking at like the algorithm's performance and what the people are wanting, and the trends are pushing them to make more predatory practices, which is making our attention span even worse. And it's just this fucking like almost like, what is it, where like an engine like almost runs out of control. Isn't that happen with like a diesel or something, where sometimes it can just overspins. Yeah. Like that's what it's like, where you lose control of it. And they were like, well, why would we need control? Because our only metrics of if we're doing good and if this is good is if people like it and we're making more money. And it's like,
Well, it's like, why does every corporation need to have more each quarter? Like, why is there constantly have to be more and more and more and
Expansion.
more and more?
Yeah, it's just
but like
combat inflation.
But it can only go so far, and that's why we're in the situation that we're in right now. But then there's other people, like people who are, spending all their money and getting funding to clean trash out of the ocean. Like a few years ago, there was this 3D model of this thing that would like skim the trash out of the ocean.
I'm pretty sure that thing is active.
That's what I was going to say. And then there's now like they did frame for frame, setting up the camera angles to capture the image from the 3D model in live video of the machine actually working, and it works phenomenally. Actually, like taking the trash and the plastics and everything out of the ocean, and like the news wants you doom and gloom. The news wants you upset. The news wants you scared. They want you terrified,
horny and scared.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, it's easier to control you that way. Well, positivity is difficult, and keeping your mind focused on forward motion and improving yourself and building your life into what you want it to be is really difficult when you just spent your time arguing with somebody over who's at war with who and who you think is the right side and what you think is correct and what God you believe in, what president you want.
Lower nature.
Yeah, their lizard brain. Yeah,
it's very easy for them to access that, and it's very easy for us to access that.
And that's what the matrix really is. It's not that we're living inside of a simulation and like you're sucking us for electricity, but we're living inside of a world that they've created and siphoning money off of us, and so we become money generators instead of electricity batteries. Like that's really what it means, and like when you wake up and open your eyes, it's because you realize that like everything is made up. I said this a couple episodes ago, like everything's made up. We're bacteria living on space sand, floating around a fireball. Nothing makes sense, and that's all that there actually is.
And Bigfoot is still the hide and seek champ of the world.
This is true.
Yeah,
this is true.
And Jerry, I'm still looking for you.
But we said we get back to the sparring stuff though, because in 45 Ryan had a wonderful description of like how newbies need to spar and that it needs to be enjoyable and that it needs to not be a competition, and you gave a lot of really great advice for that. And feeding off of that, recently I had kind of like an epiphany moment on Friday night. Sifu Greg had me and Ryan like working exclusively with each other.
Yeah, for like probably 45 minutes.
The whole class. I didn't get to punch either of them.
There's a video I'm in the middle of editing where John and I did something very similar where we had our feet in a tire and we were doing some rounds and moving around and sparring kind of with our feet in the tire. Yeah, that is actually part of the video. With our feet in the tire, and with the school we have hula hoops, so you can be a little bit more mobile, so it's a little bit more realistic, but you're within the confines of the hula hoop, and you need to try not to like move the hula hoop across the floor. So it's also like awareness of where your feet are. There's a lot of moving parts to it.
You got to keep one foot in and then get after.
And I thought I was doing well. And then Sifu just came and corrected me, and it made it a lot more difficult. But once you start to get it, you realize like how little effort you need to put in to get the same result if you do the technique the way that my teacher was just telling me to do it. And it's difficult because everybody moves differently, and you need to kind of program yourself to do these things. And without getting into the finite details of what he was telling me, it was just ease. Whereas I might be like doing like big dips and big sweeping motions and big blocks and thinking about like the counter attack. He's like, don't even worry about that. Just relax. Try not even to use the hand that's protecting your face at all. Stay sideways and slip small. Slip tiny. Slip tiny. And then I said to myself, I'm like, all right, I need to practice this on my own. How do you practice sparring on your own? So my brother Blake, who congratulations is a Joe Gal, teacher's assistant, right? Not yet allowed, sure, but he just got his black sash. And I think before he got his black sash, he might not have wanted to work with me because he felt like I might have like beat the crap out of him. But I think he's got a little bit more confidence because as soon as I texted him, like, "Hey, you want to meet up with me early tomorrow morning before class and do some sparring drills?" and he was like, "That would probably be a really good idea."
Yeah. Again, I think also maybe even more, probably even relevant than that is that I think he understands the mission a little better now. Like the mission assignment now that he's a black sash. What he's got to do.
The mission assignment. That's a good way of putting it. 100%.
Continue.
But I mean, let me tell you, he snuck in some really good shots on me, and we started out with just like hands and feet. One person moves, one person throws.
Okay.
And we went back and forth. So like I would defend and just get away from his punches and kicks, and
like
then
what we would do.
And then vice versa.
Yeah.
And then we realized I was having trouble with the slipping. So we went to just lead reverses and just worked on the slipping and getting out of the way, because it's different when you're totally mobile.
Yeah.
Because when you're totally mobile, the game changes. So working on all that, and then the last round we did, we just sparred, and we just like try not to kill each other, and it was good.
Good.
And all those, but I felt like I kind of like when you do something in a game and like the little achievement unlocked, you know, like our new skill unlocked, spend your skill points, you know, like
Level up.
yeah, level up. I definitely felt like that, like epiphany moment, because as you move on 45s and like all those like esoteric kind of like kung fu-y looking moves where you slip on the 45 or like tiger on the angle and all that stuff that people take super literally, like if you're gonna come in straight with that. There was just one moment where like he would throw and I would go on the corner and I'd be on the 45 and I would come in and he would throw and I'd be on the other corner, and like kind of finally after 11 and a half years starting to unlock that like loose t-shirt feel of it, because our teacher used to always say you should be on your opponent like a loose t-shirt, like an oversized t-shirt, how it would billow around them, but you can never quite grasp where it's going to be. And I kind of felt that when I was sparring with him, and it was also nice to like if not anything but like to not work with you, because I'm so used to you that like every little thing you do. Yeah. Not that I know everything you're going to do and like you never hit me, but like...
Yeah, but we're more accustomed to working with each other.
We're so comfortable working with each other that like it isn't anything, you know what I mean? Like, but working with Blake was great, because like I need more perfection in my techniques in order to take him down, because he's so much heavier than me. As soon as he resists the takedown, he's not moving. As soon as he grounds his feet, I can't budge him. Whereas for you, you know, he's got like 100 pounds on you. So for you, I just come in, woo, you know, and you're taller. So the ways I would come in for you are different.
Sure.
The angle of my horse stance, or the angle of my forward stance, or my throw, or my lock, or whatever, is different for you.
Sure.
And so for him, it wasn't working. I actually never really... He actually reversed and took me down twice, and I didn't take him down at all, because you know, he just... All right, I don't want to move now. So you know, he also he's a black sash now. Like he understands, like, oh nope, I'm not doing that, and then just turned it right around on me, which was really cool, really cool. And normally I would get really upset at things like that, but I was watching a video lately, and it kind of made me. I thought of this at that moment. You know who Brian Shaw is?
Yes, I do.
Brian Shaw, he just retired from the World's Strongest Man.
Yeah.
He's like won the World's Strongest Man like a bunch of times.
He's enormous.
He's huge. There was a video of him trying to with one hand pick up a 350-pound dumbbell, and he couldn't. And he was like, man, he goes, these things are never a problem for me. He's like, I'm actually kind of excited to have something to work towards for once, because he's so strong that there's like no strength event that he can't do.
Right.
Within reason, obviously. Right. So it's like, he's like, man, this is actually kind of nice to like have something to work towards. Like now he can work his grip strength to try to pick that thing up. So it's like, I had to think of it that too. Like, all right, like, okay, now this is the next thing to work towards. Because I think throughout my career, what's happened is I'll have a difficult time with something, and then I will kind of do that little moonwalk into depression, and I'm never going to get it. And then when I spar from that, like, or I'm tired and I'm like, fuck, I have no wind, I don't have any energy, you know, and you don't just like, all right, fuck it, and you just stay in the moment. It's so much more difficult. It's so much more difficult, and you actually take steps back, especially with sparring, because like sparring is like okay, what can I really do? I could do a form in front of people and make it look great, but that's the art part. That's almost like doing a dance, you know what I mean? It's not in competition in front of... I mean, if you're doing forms against people, yeah, you're competing, but it's not the same as fighting, obviously. Or UFC would look very different, you know, like, but it's not the same as fighting. So fighting is the test of all the work that you've been doing. Sure. What can I do? What can I really do? So then you spar and you don't do so good, and then you're like, fuck, I wasted all that time. But really, it's just, okay, we're back in the lab, like you had said in 45. Like, you know, we're back in the lab. We're okay. That didn't work. How do I make it work? Does it work on them? Okay, it works on them. Why doesn't it work on him?
Yeah.
And you have to figure that out. You know, okay, why did he reverse me? Where did I let myself get reversed? Did I overcommit to the technique so much that there was no way that I could recuperate from it? You know, like there's little things that you don't get to have those thoughts if you're so wrapped up in feeling bad about sparring or trying to hit the person in front of you or getting angry at somebody who's just straight up better than you.
Yeah, it is a lot of time it is a misunderstanding of the mission with sparring leads to like a misappropriation of your energy and intention, which leads to a lot of people, including all of us, stagnating in sparring at certain times, especially in the early stages. Because again, same thing like you just alluded to and I alluded to last, you know, in 45, where it was like, oh, hit, I don't want to get hit, and you're like, okay, how can I bridge this gap between my focus on technique and form when I'm in front of the mirror, and then also being aware of me being in front of someone where now the mirror I'm in front of can hit me. And it's like, how do we bridge that where it's not, and it takes time. It takes a lot of time where you're not in this, you know, you're not in this type of like animalistic kind of reactive kind of like, you know, reptilian brain form that you're in where it's sparring is scary, especially again, we're not even talking like getting into a fucking cage or getting into like a match with someone you don't know who's trying to like knock you out. We're talking about like you being 2 years in and you kind of getting on the floor and moving around, and like it is scary. It is a scary, it's an uncomfortable thing for people.
Dude,
it was uncomfortable for me. It was uncomfortable for everyone.
I mean, talking about being scared, guys, that this past Friday when you two were working together, the whole class, I was working with everybody else. And also, a fun fact, I'm also the biggest guy in the school.
You are.
By quite a bit.
By quite
a lot.
A few, degrees.
I mean, I think Elmore's close, but
you can just see like the sizes of, like, you look at the main shot, like look at the sizes of our heads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like
we're not standing up, so you can't really see it, but like I'm enormous. And
so John is enormous.
During class, we're doing the
David
hoops.
and Goliath when we're in the tire together in that video.
Yep.
Dude, I was working with Dunya, and so
she'll fuck you up. Don't sleep on her.
She could fucking crack, dude. But like like everyone I was working with, you know, I was just using her as an example of just like I'm big, she's not, but she did really well. So if Dunya, if you're listening, like very very nice work.
She's
on
not,
Friday.
but it's okay.
Yeah, okay.
In case you are, good job.
Just in case. So everybody I was in the hoop with.
I think Melissa listens to the show. She can let Dunya know.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Melissa, let Dunya know.
Let Dunya know. We said good things.
Yes, we're all fans. So we're doing the hoops, and like I'm pretty comfortable in the hoops, you know. Also because there's not somebody as big as I am there, you know. And everyone I was faced up against had like 1 foot in, and they were like, like, and I'm like, I'm not gonna hurt you, man. Like we're just working here, you know.
Your hands are also so heavy that like any contact you make moves people, and that force transfers through them, and it takes a lot to get used to that because your body's going to you. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna be injured. I don't want to be injured. You know.
Yeah.
And that survival mode kicks in, and then you know it's like what Sifu was saying to me on Friday. He's like you're already not afraid of getting hit. He's like that's something that a lot of people don't have. He's like, okay, so now you have to like actually learn how to not get hit.
Right.
He's like it's like a problem that you're not afraid of getting hit because you'll just get hit to get the hit in, and he's like that ain't gonna work for everybody because if I clip you with everything I got, you're dead. You know, like.
But like what the point I was trying to get to.
I mean, like if he clips me, I'm speaking as him talking to me.
Yeah,
yeah.
Sifu's a tiger. But I'm not a bully, you know. Like I don't really swing hard at people, you know. I like to just touch and go, and everybody that got in the hoops with me was like had like barely all their weight was on their back foot, and they were leaning out of the circle, and they were scared.
But even we realized we were doing that to
funny.
each other. There was a point where Ryan kept falling out of the hula hoop because he was leaning back so much. I would throw and he would go to dip, and then your front foot would lift up off the ground, and you'd fall out of the hula hoop. So there's and then for me, I'm like just hit my face, fucking come on, you know, like or like leaning so much that I'm rolling in these big arcs. The sound is probably terrible as I'm like all the way around the microphone.
Big.
But like roll, just roll, that I'm just gonna get me kneed in the face.
Yeah.
You know, like so it's so there's lots. Everybody's makes mistakes.
Yes.
Yeah, no, but so I mean, as a result of that, it was kind of like I kind of felt like I didn't want to hurt anybody. It's like I don't want to like. I don't like when kids are, when my coworkers or students, fellow students are scared of me, and I want to train.
And for the people out there who train on their own, they don't have somebody to spar. You have to make it real in your mind, and you need to just do your bag work and do your shadow boxing and make it real in your mind to the best of your ability. Because I have to say, there has to be carryover, because for Elmore to be away from the school for 9 to 10 months at a time, come back and train for 2 or 3 weeks, and then spar and do as well as he does.
Oh, he's awesome.
There is something to be said for. Hold on. I'm sorry.
No, he's obviously putting that work in on his own.
Yeah,
like we were talking about.
No, yeah, absolutely. He is putting that work in on his own, but there's something to be said for. I can't think of how to phrase it, but kind of like playing VR with yourself in your brain.
It's just
using your imagination.
The
I guess
headspace you're
projection.
in while you're training.
Yeah.
The mental state that you're applying to your training is
Sparring Simulator 23.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for real though, and I mean, like, I'm sure like an actual like VR thing is not going to be anywhere near as good as just like going outside and just working on your techniques.
Well, Apollo Glory is pretty cool, but yeah, you're right.
But even then, like there's some tips and tricks for training on your own. Okay, the rope, right? Take a string, tie a string between 2 points. Make sure the string lines up just with your shoulder, right? And work throwing on that line and dipping underneath that line and doing techniques on either side of that rope. That's definitely something that Sifu has taught us how to do that helps a lot with understanding movement. Like tires and hula hoops are good. Quick foot drills, maybe straight line stuff, and making sure that your feet are on either side as you do a set of techniques, and then switch to the other side and make sure your feet are on either side of that line and you're not tight roping. That's another great thing to like put like a piece of duct tape on the ground or something like that.
1 foot on each side.
Yeah, and just make sure that your techniques are working in that way. So that you're balanced and centered, especially if you're on your own. If you have people to spar with, then you're set. And honestly, you don't have to spar hard every single time. That's how you get brain damage. That's how bad things happen. So find drills to do. You give yourself handicaps. Yeah. You give yourself handicaps to, and those limitations and what techniques you can throw. Like, okay, we're just doing hands. Mm-hmm. We're just doing lead punches. We're just doing front kicks. We're just doing side kicks. And I'm going to try to hit you with a side kick, and you got to just get away from it and block. Yeah. Or you throw a side kick, and then you block and reverse punch to try to come in after I kick you. Like, find the weaknesses in each of your techniques and the strengths in each of your techniques, just like you would with your weapons, and then utilize them.
Mm.
Yeah.
Utilize them all.
Yeah.
Gotta catch them all. Pokemon.
Gonna get them all. Pokemon. I know what my name's Pokemon.
You teach me and I'll teach you. Pokemon. That was something, guys.
Yeah. So last episode we got into a brief history of the Shaolin Temple, the place in China where our wonderful art form, our martial art, comes from. And we want to learn as much as we possibly can about the history so we can properly respect the culture. And we're learning along with you guys because we know some stuff, but we're trying to do as much research as we can on our own and make sure it's a good source. If we can pull up the website so I can read it out for people, because I don't remember what it was. Okay, so I'm going to spell this out for you guys. This is yanchenwuguan.com. So YANCHENWUGUAN.com. Or you can just /Batuo, right? So Batuo or Bado, as I've also heard him referred to, is the monk who founded the Shaolin Temple. So I found this little article which gives an overview, and let's get into it. So
first, we just have to start
we got to talk about this.
With the absolute AI-generated image that
did they just type in like old Indian monk?
This is just a problem.
Yeah, this is a This is just so scary.
But what if it's real though? Is this one real? I'm pretty confused by this. I'm pretty confused by this. I'm like, yeah, like a guy who walked from India to China in the sun.
I really don't. Think, I really don't think it is, because it's like the texturing of his like hair and like the outline of his head.
Yeah, this
and like
looks,
his cleathes, like it all looks like it's like
this is AI garbage.
This is definitely AI. 100%.
But if it isn't, this is like this guy is cured by the sun. Like it's just leather.
Yeah.
This guy is.
He's
jerky.
like people jerky. Yeah.
There's no ceilings, dude. It's always sun on all the time.
Yeah, but yeah, I definitely think this is an AI image, like 100%.
Moving on.
Do you want to read it, or you want?
Yeah, I'll read it.
Okay.
So
I guess we could start. This looks like the body here.
Yeah, there's fine.
Yeah, the great teacher.
yeah, scroll up though. I want to see what that says.
Okay.
So so I can see both those little paragraphs. The great teacher Batuo, who came from India. During the Northern Wei period, an Indian monk named Batuo arrived in China. Emperor Wendi, or Zhao Wendi, welcomed him with a lavish ceremony, invited him to live in his palace chambers, and hosted daily feasts. Now, this picture here, this might be, somebody might have drawn this, but I don't think so.
This person has 3 feet and a lamp connected to their leg. So
I'm pretty sure that's AI generated.
I think this is AI generated.
And there's just a shoe. There's just a fucking shoe. Like, he's missing his shoe. That guy's missing his shoe.
Yeah.
I wonder if this is part of... Okay.
Let's 3 feet and a lamp connected to his leg.
Let's play the game called Whose Arm Is This?
Yeah.
Whose arm is this?
And why is there such a size disparity between everybody? It's like, I don't, it's like, I think they're trying to go for depth.
This is actually a depiction of the
field?
arrival of the ogres. the giant people that ate people.
This is a weird episode of Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
All right.
Or like a normal episode of Attack on
This
Titan.
is true.
Yeah.
Is he holding a chicken? What is he holding?
That
Yeah.
might be...
It looks like some sort of bird.
with his 3 fingers. Oh, God.
All right, let's keep
AI
going.
images are nightmares.
This has nothing to do with who Batuo was.
Moving
and
on.
People listening. So in 494 AD, in the 8th month of the lunar calendar, on the 15th day, on the 8th month of the 15th
Just say
day
August
of the
15th,
second,
494, bro.
So
Like, it's August.
Yeah, so in the 8th month of the lunar calendar, well, the 8th month of the lunar calendar is different.
Oh, well, it's still August.
What is this, like September or October or something like that?
It's over there.
The 15th day in the evening, when Wendy arranged a special reception of the Rapping Dragon and invited Batuo to the Imperial Pavilion to admire the moon and have a quiet talk. While walking, Batuo fell to his knees, appealing to the mercy of the ruler, and said, "A humble monk would like to go to a secluded area, for it is so difficult to maintain peace of mind in the capital." Wendy was surprised at first, but then he agreed with Batuo, saying, "Have it your way." Batuo folded his palms and bowed his head, saying only Amitofo. Have it your way, and then handed him a Burger King burger.
Whopper,
here is your
Whopper,
Whopper.
Whopper, Whopper.
I need a Whomper.
Here's,
Whopper.
they have onion rings, you can truly have it your way. Wendy turned around and went back to the pavilion of the throne. Batuo said, "The penniless monk is thinking of developing his teachings, worshipping the mountains, and wishing your majesty dragon health." That's a weird way to put that sentence. Wishing your majesty dragon health. The health of a dragon.
It's perpetual heartburn.
Yeah.
That's how they breathe fire.
Wendy, you need Prilosec, So Wendy smiled slightly and replied, "I no longer hold you. I command you to find a place for a monastery for your activities. As you find a place of fine appearance, let me know, and for you I will build a temple, quiet and comfortable." Batuo fell 3 times to his knees for the emperor's kindness. So what it sounds like is... like in a lot of ancient times, I guess, you see it depicted. Like, I guess this monk they knew he was coming, and the emperor wanted to either learn about Buddhism or was a Buddhist. We don't know a lot about him. We can look more into that. And then he was, like, made to stay in the palace. Like, you don't just up and leave. You don't just go. So it seems like the monk was like, this does not work for Buddhism, I can only imagine what, like, a royal palace in ancient China was like at that time, Who knows? And probably very distracting, especially if you're trying to be spiritual. And then again, like, everybody's human. Like, even though he's like a famous monk, like, he's a human being, so you can imagine he's probably tempted. Yeah. They make a lot of different vows. A lot of things they're not allowed to do at all, which a lot of people break. But you make mistakes and you go back and you try to live your life this way. So it sounds like he was really begging, like this isn't going to work for me. Like, I gotta go. And then you. What's it called? Proselytize yourself when you get on your knees and grovel and bow, and like that's that used to be like how you showed respect. Like you got on the floor. Like times today are so different than times were then. But if you want to continue. So Batuo had a dream. The same night Batuo had a dream, he saw himself in a ravine surrounded by a chain of mountains. The abode of wolves and tigers, where the man was freezing to the skin. Nevertheless, Batuo bravely sat down near the stream and began to recite sutras. Soon many sparrows and various mountain insects appeared. One sparrow, seeing that Batuo was reading with his eyes closed, asked in amazement, "Master, why are your eyes squeezed shut?" Batuo paused for a moment, and without opening his eyes said, "He who closes his eyes concentrates the consciousness spirit, subtly feels, the mind is filled with sincerity." The sparrow didn't quite understand him, but he nodded his head. Because I didn't quite understand it either.
Listen,
I am the sparrow.
Okay.
Also, why is he talking to animals and like having a vision? So this is
Snow White, bro.
This is clearly from like religious text. He's Snow White. So this is clearly like religious text. Like I'm sure that like in like in the wiki for the history of Shaolin, there's some recommendations for some books. I want to see if maybe there's like an audiobook of it or something. I do have a history of Shaolin audiobook I've been meaning to listen to. And I'm sure that there's probably more like historical accuracy there, but it's also really interesting to see like what the history is and what the story is. Like when we did the audio only episode, which I'm sure we'll get back to doing a new version of that. But when we had the audio only episode and we talked about the Bodhidharma, and there's that story of him crossing the river on two reeds. Like, did he really float on a reed? On a singular, like, and just like put a toe on it and floated the fuck across the river? Like, and did they really have these magical powers because they were monks? I highly doubt it. But it's cool to see like what they believed and what's in the scripture. It's the same as any religion. And any religion you look at, like, like did Jesus really turn water into wine? Like you don't know, but it's again there's this mystical, magical, larger than life theories about these amazing people, and I feel like sometimes maybe it was because in order to follow them, you needed to believe that they were greater than human, especially back then. So who knows? Maybe. But if you want to,
hey, listen, like I find it really hard to take someone seriously unless they got superpowers. Okay,
this is true.
Just saying.
I did think Sifu had superpowers like the longest time.
He kind of does.
Kind of does a little bit, yeah. So. The sparrow listened to these words and with straightforwardness let out 3 playful exclamations. "Paha! Paha! Paha!"
Just like that.
Batuo stood up and, folding his palms, looked at the sparrow with surprise and hope. The sparrow flew up on Batuo's shoulder and said, "It is not easy to build a house, but since you and I are friends, we must help each other. If so, I will grant your wish this night." And then a bird built the Shaolin Temple.
Another AI nightmare right here.
Yeah. I don't know what in the mahjong is going on in this thing right here.
There's something happening.
This looks like when you beat the game at the end, like in the old like Windows 98 computers, like when you beat the game and everything like you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
When you beat mahjong, you beat solitaire on the computer and it just and it makes this fucking pattern and then you just reset. That's what this looks like to me, with a tree with leaves.
And his hand is a small scythe as well.
Yeah,
part of the roof is not connected to the building.
Yeah, that's also.
Yeah, exactly. They built the roof on the tree. I think
in front of the building.
Did this person curate their AI images at all, or just like, nah, it's good enough?
Yeah, that's it. Just
There's
throw it
sky
up.
poking through the mountains. Also, if you didn't notice,
there's holes
that.
in the mountain.
Yeah.
If you run past it, it looks like something that you want it to look like.
Yeah,
it looks good.
You have to. he proofread everything driving by from the backseat of a minivan. It's like, yeah, it looks good. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on.
Then Batuo, pointing in the direction of 2 huge cypress trees, I guess those are supposed to be the cypress trees, said excitedly, "This place is coveted by the poor monk, so show mercy, heavenly bird." The sparrow nodded 3 times and flew away. Soon large flocks of monkeys and sparrows arrived, and they took out their sticks and whips and began to mow the grass. Not 2 hours later, the 2 halves of the thatched hut came down to the ground and joined together. Batuo approached excitedly, and kneeling down, joined his palms together, saying, "All of you."
That's pretty cool. Getting people that are not unionized. That's a good move. You want labor done quick.
Is this OSHA approved?
I'm sure it's not.
Considering 2/3 of the workforce are chimps, I'm assuming probably not.
With whips.
Yeah.
The whip chimps are here to build
I
your
heard
house.
nothing about safety gear. Like, are they wearing safety goggles while they
Dude,
whip?
I couldn't think of a more dangerous weapon for
Than
like
a
a
chip
worse
with a
animal
wimp?
to have. Like
Yeah.
just the most like the animal with the most like rotational force generation with a fucking whip. That would he would cut like a sedan in half with that.
Yeah. Imagine if you taught a chimp how to like crack a whip.
Dude,
Dude,
he would literally slice people in half with that.
if they could teach dogs how to swing wiffle ball bats at balls, they could teach a chimp how to crack a whip.
100%.
Definitely. We got baseball puppers. We need whip chimps.
Whip chimp.
Bring in the whip chimps.
Master Batuo, hurry and wake up. A servant entered the room and woke the monk. Batuo straightened up and replied, Nothing. Nothing, I was just sleeping. Did you have a nightmare? The servant cautiously asked. Batuo nodded his head and said nothing more. On the second day in the morning, the servant told the emperor what had happened. Wendy asked Batuo what kind of dream he had yesterday, but Batuo was silent again. Wendy persisted in asking him 3 times, and Batuo Wendy persisted in asking him 3 times, and Batuo uttered through force, Yesterday's dream is, I hope, the mercy of heaven. That afternoon, through the servants, Batuo said goodbye to Wendy and left the capital in search of the ghostly mountains. The 2 men walked everywhere, remaining silent, each only guessing what was on his mind. Oh, so that was a dream.
Oh, damn it.
That makes
whip
sense.
chimps.
We all lost that somewhere. That was the dream sequence that he had.
I mean, like when it comes to these like religious texts, ancient stories, stuff like this, it's like, yeah, it all sounds so fantastical. It's hard to tell the dreams from the reality.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we could have had better due diligence in knowing that the gaggle of non-unionized whip chimps was not actually mowing and setting the foundation for the Shaolin Temple.
But I wanted to believe it.
I wanted to believe that was the story so bad that I completely missed that it was the dream sequence.
And that's almost what makes it so fantastical is to think that you could find so many 1099 chimps that you could just subcontract this out to.
That
were available.
Do they email?
Do they have to fill out a W-9, or is this what's happening here?
How do you organize that many whip chimps? All right, moving on.
Okay, another great AI image.
Oh yeah, look at this.
They have no faces.
Look at the hand.
They look like dreadless predators.
This guy is a plucked chicken.
And then that guy, his left foot is a loaf of bread, and his right foot is the whole of a Danish.
Yeah, it's a raspberry Danish.
It's a raspberry Danish.
Oh man, this guy's got about 13 fingers in one hand.
Yeah, like, what is this?
What's going on? Does he have a face?
Isn't there like traditional Chinese art that like they could have pulled from for this? Like,
I'm sure.
Yeah, there's like centuries.
What's stuck in the ground next to that guy's foot? There's just like a shuriken next to the monk. The ninjas are attacking.
He dropped his knife.
Like,
his
what?
bird hand can't grab knives.
He's
got no thumbs.
Literally has a wing.
And where is this
Hey,
guy's
he's got
other hand?
9 fingers as well.
Yeah, this is
like,
just.
what is
Can I
this?
zoom in on this? Oh no, I can't. It's broken now. Come on, go back. There we
Wrong
go.
picture.
Yeah, this is nightmare fuel. I mean, there's a lot of cool things to be said about AI, but
This ain't one of them.
recreating ancient Chinese artwork is not one of
I don't
the
think it's
things.
recreate anything. I think they just like asked for a bunch of pictures and they're just like, "Yep, that's good."
I think
perfect.
I think it just input this article into a chat GPT and said, make 4 pictures about this.
Yeah, well, we gave everybody the websites. They can go look for themselves. They can read this and at least look at the website traffic out of it, so they can't even be that mad.
So you too can get nightmares from these images.
Yeah,
Correct.
100%. Scroll up a little bit so I can read that paragraph.
Above? Here
Yes.
we go.
So Batuo went to Liaoyang, and if I'm saying that correctly, and I'm probably saying nothing correctly.
Doubt.
On the 10th month of the 23rd lunar month. What? On the 10th month of the 23rd lunar month?
How did
What
they
the
get
fuck?
anything done?
So at some
How did they get
hold
anything?
on.
It's a whole day for you to say that.
I'm going to fix this. At some point in the year,
There we go.
while the servant was looking for a
Somehow
place to
Palpatine's
spend the night.
returned.
Yeah.
One day, somehow, Palpatine returned. That's so
Yeah,
funny.
while the servant was looking for a place to spend the night, Batuo went alone to wander around the center of the city. These are about his. So he's traveling with 2 disciples, and they don't come back and touch on this. So like I've seen this before, and like the 2 disciples, like there's historical evidence of the 2 of them existing, and we'll continue to go into it. I think it would be cool if after this we like found out more about that emperor, maybe a little bit more.
Wendy?
Yeah, maybe a little bit more about his.
Did you go on to found Wendy's?
How many
my
people
God.
that were killed for accidentally calling him Wendy? So I didn't sense a hyphen there.
My name is Betty.
There was something else. There was a more traditional Chinese name at the top of the article. But when he reached the western side of the heavenly street, he suddenly saw a boy tossing a shuttlecock with his foot on the edge of a well. That has to be what that is.
They had badminton.
That shuriken that's in the ground.
What?
They have badminton.
They had that's a deadly badminton.
Yeah.
Shuriken shuttlecock right there.
The boy was 12 or 13 years old, and he was hitting the shuttlecock 500 times without stopping.
To who?
Just something out of an anime. Botswell involuntarily burst out an exclamation of amazement.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Oh my God!
The boy noticed this, jumped down from the well, raised his head, and looked at Botswell in disbelief. Botswell realized that he had disturbed the boy by his exclamation, silently folded his hand, and without blinking, gazed intently and expressively at such a talented child, and then said, "You're such a great shuttlecock tosser. You opened my eyes today, and everything fell into place."
Whoa.
The boy, without expressing any emotion,
Botswell's on like a
answered,
list.
I
think the
the
county-
teacher exaggerates, but Botswell asks excitedly, "Who is your Sifu?"
You're such a great shuttlecock tosser.
Can
You
I
opened
be
my
your-
eyes
Can
today,
I be your seafood?
and everything fell into place. Can you toss my shuttlecock, little boy? We're getting put on a list for this. This is bad.
No, we're getting put on a list for what you just said.
That's what I meant by this. Oh, look, part of this is in Russian, guys. There we go. We got to learn Russian today.
Dude, is this entire article like a chat GP? Like, what is this?
This is just it's like AI nightmare. The whole thing.
Yo,
Part of it's
what?
in Russian.
What is happening?
No, for the physical challenge.
What is this art? Like, what?
Did you read this?
What is
No.
that?
Look at all this.
Wait, hold on. Look at
I'm
look at
kinda-
the exchange that's going on down there.
I didn't
what's going
read
on
it
here?
because I just trusted it, but I'm kind of glad that I
Dude,
didn't
That
read it
fucking
first.
thing's face.
What is going on?
What
It's
is-
got one eye.
Or
and a little
is
smile.
his hands handing him another hand?
This looks like blood. It looks like he removed a hand from this little
His
creature.
hands handing him another hand.
The hands are handing hands. The
Dude,
handyman.
This is.
another.
Should we just retreat to Wikipedia? Like, I don't do. Should we keep going?
I
Like,
want to just kick you guys out and go like wash my eyes out with something. Look at all this. These are great. You know, we have to endure this now. We have to get to the
keep
end.
going.
Okay.
We must reach the
We
end.
have to keep going. Okay.
All right.
So, ha ha ha! On hearing this, the boy laughs with a laugh as silvery as the ringing of bells. Seeing that Botswell was puzzled, he explained, "Truly amazing abilities to toss a shuttlecock like that, and over 500 times. Great, great." The boy stared at Botswell in amazement, and then, vodka, comrade. The next
Proszę
day,
mi
as the
piwo.
time came, the servant accompanied Botswell to the well. The clever Ji Guang came even earlier, which I think is one of his disciples.
Dude, this is
Oh no, that has to be the kid.
this is amazing. I'm enamored.
I wonder if this is like AI translated from Russian.
I don't know why this is here. There's no reason. It's like suddenly Russian.
Suddenly.
Botswell watched with admiration as Jiguan kicked the shuttlecock, saying in extraordinary enthusiasm, "Do you want to become a monk? I am a monk myself, coming from India. I travel in search of the mountains that I have dreamed of."
Mountains were the back.
It's like so he's like walking through China looking for like a mountain that he saw in a dream, and there's this dude hacky sacking essentially. So he just like picked like the best hacky sacker in China and was like, "All right, let's go, let's do
And
this."
then there's this picture, which I can't get enough of it. This
Keep
might-
going. I'm sure it's explained.
Is this like AI fan fiction? Like what? You know?
I think this is a website made by AI.
yeah.
Okay, moving on.
Do we keep going with this? Because this is crazy.
We gotta reach the end. We're almost there. We're more than halfway.
Ji Guang saw that Botswell was not speaking in vain, and so he replied, "That's wonderful, just dreaming of bowing to his teacher." Having said this, he bowed down in an earthly bow. Botswell was very pleased and lifted Ji Guang off the ground. The boy straightened up and turned to Botswell with the words, "Your student will always follow his teacher, protect him, and tend to him. Ami Tofo." With his eyelids closed, Botswell replied. From then on, Botswell had another companion, and they all bowed together to the mountains in search of a place for the monastery. Botswell only approached to Songshan. In 495 AD, on the 15th day of the first lunar month, Botswell and two disciples arrived in the western foot of the Shaoxi Songshan. Looking at the chain of mountains and the landscape, exactly the same as in the dream, at first amazed, then laughed. Batuo exclaimed in excitement, "These are the ghost mountains. The dream in the imperial gazebo is coming true." Jiguang jumped up in joy, and the servant accompanying them suddenly fell to his knees with his words. "Master, please accept me as a disciple as well," Batuo replied. "Truly, the desire of the heart's meat." The three of them reached the river, and as they surveyed their surroundings, they noticed with surprise the forest. There's just the right 2 trees. They jumped to the other side of the stream and saw the 2 dark green cypress trees standing exactly where they should. Dreams are coming true, and Jiguang has become a disciple, Batuo said to himself. The servant approached Batuo with the words, "I am going back to the capital to inform the emperor." Batuo smiled slightly and remained silent.
So I think first thing I think if I was one of the 3 of them, I think what I would be surprised about is that the master that they met is definitely seemingly a capybara pretending to be a person.
Yeah.
Just 2 capybaras in a trench coat.
100%, yeah.
That's a capybara on 4 other capybaras' backs. Just like,
I'm definitely not a capybara pretending to be a person.
Definitely not a capybara. It's the first thing you gotta know.
Look at the way it's wearing its sandal. It's very capybara-esque.
There's a lot of Pringle rocks laying around.
And this guy is just storing his other leg over his shoulder.
And here's this pink box I got for you.
It's
Thank you.
Actually a photorealistic gas can. It's like a you know what I mean, the red gas can. And what's going on with these hands? Like, look, this guy
AI is not good at hands.
This guy
cannot figure out hands.
Dude, his hand has balls.
Oh my god,
that's so great.
The guy behind him put his hand in a sander and then fell asleep.
Yeah.
He just froze his hand and then put it right into the sander. Oh, because it's hard to sand warm meat. You gotta freeze it.
So what I'm parsing from this, what the real stuff is, where the dates are, right? The real stuff is where the dates are, I think. And it's like, okay, so yeah, clearly,
there's 23 months in a year.
Clearly, he was a monk that had some servants and went to see the emperor, and the emperor was a Buddhist, and he was like, "I need a temple to do my thing," and the emperor was like, "All right, go find some land for your temple, and I'll help you build it." Then he had a couple of students, picked up a couple others along the way, and then they made it to the mountain, and they said, "Fuck it, let's
Some
make
of
the
them might
Shaolin
have
temple."
been potentially underage.
And
There was no such thing back then.
That's for sure.
They did some shuttlecocking and met a robed capybara.
What translates to shuttlecock aside from badminton? Like,
look it up.
And then
the history of the shuttlecock. That's what we're getting into right now.
I'm assuming that from what the story is saying that they already found a temple, or because didn't he found?
He found the mountains.
He found a temple.
He found the mountains. He found the place to build a temple.
Who was the master that he was talking to? Weren't they talking to someone?
They're talking to him.
Oh, they're
servants talking to him.
Oh, okay.
Alrighty, so let's see here. This is where. Yeah, this is where we picked up.
Yeah.
This is where we're at.
So a few days later, Batuo ordered Jiguan to cut the grass to buy a house. With the help of the men who arrived, a thatched hut with 3 rooms was quickly built. And an earthen statue of Shakyamuni, Buddha, was placed inside. Paired inscriptions were hung on the entrance, and the top was Buddha Hall for regular accommodation.
Vacancy.
Yeah. Entrance and rear.
Yeah, Wi-Fi.
On the bottom, a place for perfection and purification. Also, the vending machine is around the back. And on the horizontals was inscribed "Room for monks." They just labeled stuff. So they built the house and labeled things.
They got Mike and Ike's from 1997.
Yeah. They're still good. Days passed. The servant led people to the mountain Shaoxi to build the monastery. In the same year, on the 19th day of the 2nd lunar month, thank you, March 31st, 495.
Damn it.
All the work was completed. One could see the solemn halls, porches, buildings, and pagodas. On the same day, Emperor Wendi arrived. Why is the temple called Shaolin? Batuo fell to his knees and said, "The temple has already been built. I beg your majesty to bestow upon it the name." Wendi replied, "The gate of the temple is located near 2 trees. 2 trees can be considered a forest. The monastery stands at the foot of a mountain, and the mountain is called Shaoxi. So let us call the temple Shaolin." What is it? Shaolin, what is it? Like what it is. I'm gonna call it Shaolin. What it is.
What it do?
What it do? Batuo and Batuo and all present rejoiced exceedingly. Yeah.
He's like, I don't know what that means, but I like it.
Yeah.
Here we go, some more AI-generated floating pagodas.
That's not so bad, though.
That's not so bad.
That is better.
The stairs are a little bad, though.
Stairs are not great.
Yeah.
Whatever the fuck that is.
Duck. It's a duck.
So confident. A duck.
That's
A
a duck.
duck.
You should know.
Gravy. Really small rocks. Apples.
A duck.
A duck.
She turned me into a newt. I got better. Okay.
Wendy led a sacrificial ceremony before the gates of the temple that lasted 3 days. For 3 days, the people rejoiced. Incense was kindled in honor of the Buddha, and sparkling fireworks were set off. Leaving Shaolin Temple, Wendy said, "Every year, the 19th of the second month will be celebrated as Shaolin Monastery Day." Thus, Batuo settled in Shaolin. He explained the reading of the Buddhist sutras and had a very wide influence. With the number of monks reaching more than 1,600, Batuo was the head of the monastery and became the first abbot in Shaolin history. For 2 years. 2 years later, after Batuo became abbot, one afternoon he called Jiguan to him and said, "Guru needs to leave Shaolin, and you can stay to watch over order to spread the great Dharma of the Buddha." So he appointed his second in command.
And here we have an incredible amount of feet between
Yeah.
these four people. There's
Now they're
just-
in vans.
This guy's got 2 feet for one leg.
And an anklet, apparently.
And this guy is trying to take this person's foot and merge it with his own.
Just
And the guy on the
microwave.
left looks like he's wearing pumps. He's got one blue heel.
Oh,
And his
goodness.
elbow is very sharp. I would hate to catch an elbow from that guy.
I didn't know they had Air Force Ones in
Those
495.
two on the right look really cozy.
They know each other. They're not
they're-
just getting to know each other.
They've known each other.
I knew her.
Yeah. What is that?
John Proctor. What is that
Yeah,
from?
yeah.
Fucking the Devil's No, I was gonna say the Devil's Advocate.
Yeah, absolutely not.
That's
The
Al
Crucible.
Pacino.
The Crucible.
Yeah, the Crucible.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I knew her.
Those are two very different movies.
Um,
Very different movies.
Jiguang replied, "The disciple understood everything, but still asks you, do not go." Batuo just once looked at Jiguang, said nothing more, stood up, took the patro and the cup, and went out the gate. I don't know what the patro and the cup is, but he took it and he went out the gate.
Well,
so
it's been
that
revealed
was
to
a awful article that we pulled up.
Yeah,
Okay,
I blame
so-
Ed.
So
No, it is 100% my fault.
That's okay.
I should have read it beforehand, but I just saw how long it was and completely trusted that it wasn't going to be an AI
it wasn't gonna be
generated
what the fuck that
mess.
ever was. So
I think it was AI translated.
And then just briefly into Russian. It was like
Yeah.
really cool how that happened.
That article was like when what's his name? Ah, yes, Jurassic Park. What the fuck is his name?
Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum just sticks his hand elbow deep into Triceratops shit and pulls something out. Like that's what that article
big
was.
pile of shit.
Big pile of shit right there.
It's a big pile of shit.
But I found that big pile of shit because I was thumbing the internet and it was the only article that I found in the limited amount of time that I left myself to write the rundown for the episode. So that is my fault 100%.
It's all
However, the wiki is right here and it's only a paragraph long, but it'll help summarize the facts that we do know, right? So the Dhyana master Buddha Bhadra, which in Chinese is Batuo, was the first abbot of the Shaolin Monastery. He hailed from southern India. Former worthies gather at the Mount Shangfeng Stupa, which I think the stupa is the that's like a Buddhist
I think it's like the
building.
roof,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And each talks of the dark principle contains the following references to him. Oh, because these are books. So former worthies gather at the Mount Shuangfeng Stupa, and each talks of the dark principle. Those are both books.
Those are right off the tongue.
Yeah, exactly. Contains the following reference to him. Dhyana Master Buddha says, "The extreme principle is wordless. The sagely mind is unimpeded." According to the Dengfeng County recording, Batuo came to China in 464 and preached Nikaya Buddhism for 30 years. 31 years later, in 495, the Shaolin Monastery was built by the Emperor Zhao Wen of Northern Wei for Batuo's preaching. Batuo's disciples, Seng Shao and Hioguang, were both expert in the martial arts by the time they began their studies of religion with Batuo. So that it's so short, I wanted a little bit more, but it's really interesting to think that his first two disciples were already martial arts experts as they founded the temple. Because that also, there's a lot of fable story and there's a lot of other stuff that goes along with it. Like, did the Bodhidharma really invent martial arts if there were already martial artists there? Or did he take something that they already had and synthesize it and make it a practice for everybody to do? So the source for the wiki, it says, the Bodhidharma Anthology, the earliest records of Zen. So yeah, we should probably read some books and get back to this.
The Bodhidharma discography. We got to listen to that. I hear you had a few good albums.
That's the thing, though. It's like it's hard to do history pieces when we're all like so busy. But that was hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just even worth keeping it in because of how awful it was.
Yeah,
is
dude.
Really,
I will do over the course of the next between now and when we get to record next, whether it's next week or a couple weeks. I will do some more research and I will find some more stuff. But that was fucking funny. That was really funny. And now. So for the listeners, this might not be the greatest for you guys, but you got Spotify on, boom, turn that phone around and open the screen because I have some videos that I pulled for us to react to for episode 45, and I have, thank you ADHD.
Sometimes it pulls through.
No idea what they are.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I have absolutely no recollection of
even
what
worse
these videos
and
are.
And more terrifying.
I don't know if I put them in there as a gag for you guys, 'cause I do that sometimes. I have no idea
just like gore.
what
Just
these
like
videos
horror
are going to be.
Alrighty, let's figure it out. We're right here. Okay. Section 3, video reactions.
They're all from Reddit, which is a great start.
And my computer has a virus. To show off, there was an attempt to show off your. Okay, ready?
Ah, yes.
Oh, our boy Steve.
Our boy Steven Seagal.
Come on, Steve. Show us what you got.
The Golden Corral buffet man himself.
His goatee looks like a donut. It looks like a
and I'm sure he's
dark
happy about
chocolate donut just got glued to his
It
face.
literally is a donut he's saving for later.
When I look at myself, I get hungry.
Yeah, here we go.
Steven Seagal.
Spacebar is not the play button.
He wore the black gi because it's slimming.
Yes,
Yeah, that's the only reason.
along with the black donut on his face. All right.
Oh yeah.
Dude, his shoes.
Why are his shoes pointy?
They're pointing up.
He's about to have like a house fall on him or something.
Yeah, Marshall. Look, he's exhausted.
Oh my god.
This is always much easier for me to do this when I have my sleep apnea mask on.
He's literally just like not even doing anything. They're just rolling. Look at the girls laughing in the crowd. Oh my god. There's no effort involved whatsoever.
Dude, and he's here with like, you can tell behind him are like legit.
Like broke that guy's thumb. This is how I take down 4 men at a time.
I think I'm so tired right now. Let me sit down. I got my hat on
Backwards
backwards.
baseball cap. Yeah, that's
Oh my god.
that's our
Dude,
boy
that
Steve.
was-
I don't understand. Like, wasn't he supposed to be like the only white guy that like actually had a school in Japan?
No, that's what I mean.
he does.
But he also didn't he have a family in Japan and then leave them to come to America?
Then he abandoned them.
I'm pretty sure he abandoned them to have a movie career.
My Japanese family's not cool. My American family will be a lot
I'm
cooler.
gonna start that rumor about Steven Seagal, whether it's true or not.
I
We're gonna go ahead
think
and
that's
believe
fair,
it.
and I think he deserves it.
Yeah, I haven't
Moving
heard
on
many good things about sweaty palms.
Oh yeah,
this
sweaty
is-
palms makes me upset.
I'm gonna,
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna be clenched in a sec.
Okay, Iranian
Oh,
soldiers
God, that's
failing
like
miserably in the martial arts.
Oh no,
Okay.
this is great.
Iranian soldier failing miserably in a martial arts demonstration in front of top Iranian generals and military officials during a ceremony.
Dude,
Here
this
we
is like when you have kung fu nightmares. Like this is what the kung fu nightmare. This is what your test is gonna be like.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Firing squad is on standby.
You know these guys are dead now. Oh my god.
Dude, he couldn't break a vase.
Bink.
What's that shit made of?
Yeah, what?
It's just full of bricks.
They lowered it.
Oh my god.
What's
Dude,
that thing made out of?
pick a shittier vase.
Yeah.
They got rid of all the trick vases. They brought somebody else in.
No, this isn't actually a martial arts demonstration. They're gonna build their tanks out of these vases.
They're showing them how strong the vases are.
They're showing how much superior their pottery barn is in Iran than it is here.
How many spinning back fists can my flower pot take?
The guy just like, I'm not gonna try to keep up. What if I fuck it up? I've done that. Oh my god.
Homeboy's not pleased.
It's just like, fuck.
Yeah. All right. We're all gonna die now. Dude, could you imagine? What are they supposed to be
Watch
made
it
of?
break now.
They just run into a line of bayonets.
Dude, there's a video that I should have put in this that I don't think I did.
Dude, this
Where
is
there's like it's
What a
like a
nightmare.
board breaking demonstration, and the girl breaking the board's literally like,
Yep.
Eh.
I did see
Eh.
that. Like she gets down to a split and then just
And
like.
it's, yeah.
I did see
I mean,
that.
like, cool that she can do a front split, but like, so can most like 15-year-old girls. I feel like you know, it's like not that hard to get like to get flexible, but to break boards, it's dude, it's so bad.
It was a lot of cringe.
I think I've seen this before.
I don't believe I've seen this.
Or just like I've seen this type of.
This I put in here because this is the martial art that supposedly is what Kung Fu comes from.
Kalipri Patu?
Yeah.
Something like that? Is that what it's called?
Well, let's check it out.
It's
All right. And this is how you scare everyone around you.
dude.
That guy just like falls apart.
But they'd wear those as belts, and then just like, okay,
just
you know?
sharp,
Sick.
literally just
Yeah.
sharp, flexible metal.
That would really suck.
Kalari Payatu.
There it is. Flexible.
Dude,
It's a
that
flexible
was
sword.
wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't mean that.
Can you imagine
And that
fucking
guy
up?
also, I mean, I don't know if this is out of pocket, but that guy looks like Jesus. Also,
Yeah.
That guy definitely. I mean,
That's definitely what Christ actually looked
and
like.
historically accurate Jesus.
Yeah,
as
he
well.
looks like a real Jesus, not like a French Prince Jesus.
or Korean
It's
Jesus.
the Prince Charles Jesus or the Prince Albert Jesus. Is that the one? No,
Oh
it's not.
God,
That's not the one.
and we're going to hell. See you guys
That's not
later.
the right one. Okay, what's on to the next one?
This is more from that.
Oh, okay. It's a Rumi is a sword with a flexible whip-like blade.
That is horrifying.
Originating in modern-day Kerala, India, it is believed to exist from the 3rd century CE. It is treated as a steel whip and therefore requires prior knowledge of that weapon as well as the sword.
Dude, that's so scary.
Hence, a Rumi is taught last in Indian. This is
like their most advanced weapon. This is
the
like
final boss level is the Arumi. Here we go.
she looks like she'll fuck you up too.
Dude, the idea of like you just look down and like your foot is cut in half.
Yeah, no shirt, no shoes, no problem.
Yeah, dude, just fucking go into it.
Like even sharpened or not, there's no way that those don't hurt when they hit yourself with them.
So scary. Jesus. I think maybe can we let's see if we can find on Reddit maybe a quick
We've done this.
a quick palate cleansing Bushido video and call it a day.
I think that's fair. Bullshido. Bullshido level over 9,000. My
right,
body
let's
is
go.
ready.
What is a true Bushido sensei?
Okay, this looks all a white belt in the demonstration.
He's fighting like Sirius Black's like house elf, I think is the House of Black.
It's just like, look at how many people I've taught how to somersault.
Wingardium Leviosa.
All of my students are tumblers.
Stupefy.
Yeah, dude. What?
Is he shitting?
Which one is?
A shot of Patron or whatever Harry Potter said.
This is like if Mel Brooks made a karate movie.
This is my
fucking looks like
fingertip
Mel
toss. It's Mel Brooks. It's yogurt.
Oh my god, I hate yogurt.
This
Even with
is
Sean-
my fingertip toss.
That's what that is. Hey, welcome to Marty's Martial Arts. This is how you do the fingertip toss. Here we go.
All right, let's break for lunch.
Yeah, all right, Linda's got matzo ball soup in the lobby. Everybody's welcome.
If you've done martial arts long enough, you know that they're like aya, ah. It's not real.
It's not real. No.
Oh, can we go to this one?
true
This guy has
Bushido
his shirt
sensei.
off and he looks not good. So
Yeah.
let's see what this is.
This looks like it's going to be awesome. It's Patty Pimblett.
Oh,
in the off season.
That's like Patty Pimple.
Gained 70 pounds in the off season. He's like, I'm good. Here we go. Oh, yeah, you just go like that and you avoid the knife.
This is definitely Sistema, 100%.
Oh, dude,
This is
Sistema?
absolutely.
Yeah, the
Sistema.
knife's already in your neck. Just
Yep.
turn away from it.
Just turn it into you. Yeah, I think that is
Dude,
Sistema, man.
I'll brace the blade against my bare belly,
Yep, that'll do it.
dude. What?
I mean, the tit seams on this guy.
This guy. I mean, this guy's got it. I mean, this guy's got like.
God, his pecs are so big, they're tits.
Yeah, this guy's got like. I mean, he's got some supple B cups. I'd say, probably right.
Supple.
I don't know if we can show this.
Yeah, do we need like a nudity warning for
This
this?
is NC-17 Martial Mind Podcast. Right there, yeah.
He looks like
This
John.
is the only academy where this is the only academy.
dude.
He looks like John Denver ate Jeffrey Dahmer.
Dude, look at this. No uniform required.
This This is the only academy where like the uniform consists of like a 6-pack of beer and a bra.
Dude, you don't get any sashes when you
get a new color.
When you go up a level, you just take off your shirt. All my black sashes are shirtless, and then we feed them 340 ounces of Colt 45 as their final test. They get hammered and bloated.
All right, next.
These poor fellas. The worst part,
God.
They're being fed bullshit martial arts, and the worst part is they believe it.
Yeah, dude, that guy. I
don't know if they all did. Some of those faces in the back were like, okay.
Dude, the guys with no shirts on are fully committed.
That's true. True.
Those are the acolytes.
This guy has a Bluetooth headset in, so I don't know if this guy's on a call or...
This is Dust. Detroit Urban Survival Tactics.
He looks like those hammerhead things from Star Wars.
Oh, wait.
Like, how does his chin and his chest connect?
Did you guys see the video of Sean Strickland going to the Urban Survival guy?
No.
Dude.
We gotta do that now.
Wait, what about this video? I'm gonna have it incomplete.
Okay, let's watch this, and then we gotta find Sean Strickland.
All right.
Dude, it's magical.
What the fuck?
Like martial arts in the high school history section.
I got the magic stick. Dude, this is Jedi mind tricks.
Center triangulation, of course.
Yeah, obviously.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Oh!
I didn't know Neil Bohr was teaching.
Wasn't this guy in Star Trek? It's the left hand that gets me. It's like, oh, yep, look, he's signaling. Go down.
All right, I'm falling asleep.
Dude,
okay, next.
Shoes, no shoes.
All right, Sean Strickland goes to
Dude, yeah.
On Reddit. How do you is Sean with an SH or is Sean?
It's SEAN.
The correct Sean. All right, close.
Well, then there's also SHUAN, right?
Oh God.
Schwan.
Hey Schwan.
Lon Schwan.
Sounds like a shawarma dish.
Schwan. It starts with an A.
I'm just like, really, I'm off my game.
It was just a second of pausing, and then you just click A. Sean Strickland.
Dust. Detroit Dust guy versus
Strickland.
Sean.
Oh, here, I'll go back. I think it's Strickland versus the GOAT.
All right. Is this it?
I think so, yeah.
You're gonna come here.
All right, hang on. I got to start this over. Did he just knee him in the face? Dude, I love Sean Strickland. Oh! He broke his counter. Oh, I love it.
Dude, the best. I saw that.
Is there more to that?
I don't know if there is.
Last guy to grab Sean's arm tried to rip it off, so it's natural for him just to break shit. That's great.
Dude.
I'm a fan of Sean Strickland. He's freaking hilarious. Talking to his opponent mid-fight. Next fucking level. All right, this is going to be cool. Well,
dude, this video is like, I've seen.
I watched center, Jack.
I watched
Come on, bro, we're both boxers. Oh yeah, that boy. I knew I'd like you, bro. You just can't fall. Why
such a
would you
meathead.
fall? That's pretty good performance. If you keep not going down, fall down, Jack. 30 seconds, Jack. Let's go. I'll give you a chance to win. Just go hard. Come on, Jack. Come on, Jack. 10 seconds, Jack. 5 seconds, Jack.
This guy's insane.
Why is your head
Dude,
made
he's
of
such a
steel?
meathead.
He's fucking nuts.
Dude, he said, "Why's your head made of steel?" Like, he's known for having like an absolute steel jaw. Like,
Yeah.
he's such a meathead.
Dude, dude. Also, not clearly right now, but like at some point, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but dude, the fight of him when he fought Izzy, he fought Israel Adesanya.
Yeah,
and just,
I watched it.
Outclassed him.
Yeah.
He's the middleweight champion.
Yeah.
In UFC because he beat Izzy.
Oh wow,
Izzy.
I didn't see that.
You
fight.
didn't see
Dude,
that?
no,
No, yeah.
Izzy just like didn't know what to do.
It was amazing.
Sean was just walking at him and I don't know.
Goes to show putting the pressure on too. Let's pull up highlights. Let's see if we can get some highlights on that.
Let's do that.
And then we can end on that. Cause it do be 3 o'clock though.
No problem. We'll go to YouTube A.
Yeah, there you go. Second one down. Full highlights.
Here it is. I make these. 4 minutes.
UFC 293, Adesanya versus Strickland.
We should shout out the
Saturday,
channel.
September 9th,
Whose
from
channel is
Brutal
this?
League Arena in
MMAweekly.com. Hang on. Let's go ahead and find one without a voiceover because we are the voiceover.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the full fight from somebody's cell phone.
What about the first video?
That's 6 minutes.
We got 6 minutes. Oh, it's most MMA.
We can always.
Just turn the sound off.
I want the sound. Epic music. I don't think I want this one either. Should we just watch the other one muted?
Sure.
Okay. Well, this, you know, we can just watch this one muted.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay, I'll start it back to when they started fighting, and we can begin our commentary. All right, so Ed has not seen the Israel Adesanya Sean Strickland fight.
I have not. That's a good catch. Throw people off. Checks
Yeah.
the kick nicely. Out of the way. The problem is Izzy's throwing one technique. He's throwing one technique. He's probably testing him, though, too.
Yeah, this is first round, so you know,
Yeah.
first round is always kind of tepid.
That was a good slip on Izzy's part. The thing is, like, Sean Strickland is doing, like, exactly what Sifu was telling me about the other day. It's like he's not making big movements to dodge out of the way. He's just, like, right there. Not afraid to get hit. Just small slips, small techniques, using his shoulder to block.
And you see too, like during this whole fight, like Sean was just not like feeding into all like the flashy shit. He was just like standing there. He's like, "I'm just gonna punch you in the face," and like Izzy was just like, "Fuck!" Like he just like it was. I think it was just a bit of a. Like I don't know, because like they're both strikers, but just I think the way they strike is definitely different and what they prioritize. He
Yeah.
fucking dropped. I think this is what this was like the second round. I think he dropped him in.
I think so.
Dude, fucking like
Yeah,
that.
and Izzy never recovered.
You know, it just didn't. Yeah,
That was a complete turning point.
And also, too, this entire fight.
Boom!
I mean, Sean. I mean, in the fights I've seen of Sean, he does this anywhere. Where I mean, he is like he puts on like serious kind of like unrelenting pressure. But like Izzy was like on his heels like almost like the entire fight, which
Right.
in and of itself is like exhausting. Just someone constantly just like walking at you, and you can't really get. You know,
Because you don't have a moment to breathe.
No, and also
you're tense
too,
the whole time.
And also too, I mean, you know,
go.
thinking of like Izzy with like his reach and also like his kicking, like he also likes having you at range. So like Sean also constantly putting on that pressure and having him either against the cage or having him potentially cornered. But it's crazy. I mean, Sean was literally just like so much of this fight was him just throwing 1-2s, him literally just throwing like jabs and overhands and just like and crosses and fucking just hitting Izzy. Like it was.
But he's got that drunken elbow block a little bit.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
noticed he was defanging there, which is pretty cool. But yeah, Strickland doesn't do a lot of crazy shit.
No, it's like a lot of, and again, I don't want to say bread and butter in the sense of simplifying it, but it's more in the sense of like he's sticking to like tried and true, just like
The fundamentals.
like like toolbox of techniques. And not to say that Izzy stuff doesn't work, because I mean, look at to the level that he's gotten to, and he's like an incredible fighter. But just seeing, like, it was such an interesting. It almost was like Izzy was fighting like in a dream. Like it was just like he was just throwing stuff, and Sean was just like, no.
And you can
like,
see on his face, he knows he's losing.
Yeah, no, this was definitely a worthwhile fight to watch.
it was wild to watch.
Just watching.
And that
it
was the thing
fall
too. Is
apart.
also like, I remember they were saying a lot of the time that Izzy's kicks were just like nullified a lot of the time. Like a lot of like his head kicks and stuff, they just weren't. They either they weren't landing and they were just being blocked. Like
Yeah.
like he wasn't connecting.
He's
with them.
catching everything with his elbows.
Yeah, it's
Which hurts.
yeah.
Yeah, you see that nice... Wait, go back. See that nice little slip? That's like the subtle slip I'm talking about. Because it barely connected. Hold on, let's see if we can find a play from here.
Right here.
Yeah. Go back, right that. That's it, right there. Boom. Like, you see the slip? You see how he just subtly like lifts his shoulder and moves his chin out of the way? Whoop. Nope. Whoop.
It's quick.
He
and
like
easy. It's
caught
tight.
it between his face and shoulder real quick.
Yeah, no.
That's that little slip because you can't see it. So this is the thing too. Like to be a UFC fighter, you need to put on a show as well. That was a nice.
Yeah, that was
dip.
a really good combo there.
Yeah, because people get like like what was it? There was the remember when CM Punk was in the UFC? He was in the UFC for like I think he fought 2 fights, and I don't remember if it was the first one or the second one, but he lost like pretty badly to the guy who won, and the guy was like a legit MMA fighter who beat him, but like he like carried on in such a way where he dragged the fight out and he was just playing with CM Punk for the entire fight that like Dana White literally fired him. He was
Wow.
like, you're never fighting in the UFC again. Like, I'm not watching that ever again. And he just dumped him.
Jeez.
You know,
Because the fight was boring.
yeah, the fight was awful. The fight was like nothing. I think I watched that one live. I think, it was just.
Dude, just like even sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but like this sequence right here, he's cornering him and he's just giving him ones and twos and counter punching.
Yeah.
Like right here when he backs him up, it's just there's your lead. There's your reverse.
Right, and Izzy's throwing kicks out of desperation. It looks like
1-2-1-2.
And that's one thing too that I've heard about. That also, since we're not even sparring in a cage, it's like that's one thing. Same thing with like in a ring is being aware of where your angles for escape are and where you are in the cage to make sure that you're not being because a lot of that is all closing off distance and angling and closing off and angling your opponent to kind of
Ooh, there you go.
to kind
reverse.
of keep them in a place where you can load up on them. But yeah, the fight was super interesting. It was like it was just wild to watch. I was just like, this is because I'm trying to think. What the story was is that if they were trying to get someone to fight Izzy or Izzy was fighting someone else and then Sean took up the spot. I don't know if he was fighting Sean originally.
No, I think the same. I think Sean was a stand-in.
yeah, he took it like last second.
Yeah.
And he literally became the champion and now
Like less than 6 weeks out, like, hey, you want to fight Israel Adesanya? Like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
and just meat-headed his way to be the champ. That's unbelievable.
But it's so simple. I mean, it's just and that's the thing too. I remember what was it? Joe Rogan was talking about how they had, I guess the UFC gave Sean Strickland like a mouthpiece to train that tracks impact to see how much you're getting hit, and they were saying that like out of I think most people in the UFC, he spars the most and gets hit the least, just because he's fighting so much that his timing is like impeccable.
That's pretty unbelievable.
Yeah, and again, it's just dude. I mean, this is such a. I mean, again, with all, I want to say I don't want to say it in the way of like thinking that all UFC fighters don't have this, but you see, I feel like Sean is such the epitome of like understanding and using your basics. I mean,
Yeah.
he literally got a world title with like 2 or 3 punches.
Yeah.
For the most part, and just like had a good guard, had good movement, and good like good dominance over like area in the cage, and just like hit him with 3 punches over and over again, basically, and just like Philly shelled and just fucking beat outclassed Israel Adesanya. Like that is wild.
He's talking shit now. Yeah, I mean, like we've talked about this, just like leaning back on your basics and relying on them, because he's not like I don't see Sean Strickland and think like fighting genius. Like he's not an unconventional fighter, but he's just like it's so tight, like it's so good.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is his technique and his application of it is crazy.
Yeah.
Dude,
Fucking
wild.
unbelievable. Unseated the champ. Yeah, just with
insane.
your basics.
Insane.
And now, do you feel like that is an indictment of Adesanya, or is this just sort of lightning happened to strike in Sean's direction?
No, I don't.
I think Adesanya is a great fighter. I mean, like you put up, you're gonna lose sometimes, and the fact that he like grabbed his wrists and held up his hand at the end of the fight, like that's because the UFC would turn on Strickland too, because everybody's an Izzy fan. Everybody loves Izzy.
Right.
Everybody loves him. And like especially after that speech, that last win, he's a fucking sensation. I want everybody to feel this level of happiness once in your life. Like that's he became really famous and really inspirational after that thing. And I could see people getting really angry, but like he got outclassed. He got outclassed by basics. It looks like that's what it seems like. Outclassed by basics. That's really what it is. All the fancy shit is playtime.
And it's weird because it's like it's fancy, not even in the sense of like it doesn't work, because like he's used it up to this point, but it was just this stuff it wasn't catching. You know what I mean? Like it just like it just the gear just wasn't catching, and it just he couldn't. And I think it was a pacing issue. I think it was a stylistic issue. What they were prioritizing in the sense of like techniques to get off versus like pacing and controlling distance, and like how they were managing that distance through what techniques. And I just think it was really interesting to watch. It was crazy to watch. Like, I mean, I've seen some crazy shit in the UFC, and I haven't even watched it that often, but like, you watch stuff like this, and you're like, dude, that is like, I'm talking about like a fucking redneck Cinderella story. It's like, just like, I'll fight him, and just like fights him and wins. And it's like, what?
It's
that's
pretty amazing.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, and they're both like fucking world-class strikers. I mean, if you're ranked in any division, I mean, you're a fucking world-class fighter, 100%.
Yeah.
And can take on, 99.9% of the regular human population. But it's like, you watch it up here and you're like, it's crazy. It was crazy to watch. It really, really was.
The disconnect was real there, man. It's just you looked like a different fighter. Adesanya did.
Yeah, no, he definitely looked a little uncomfortable.
Like pretty much since that knockdown, it was the entire direction of the fight changed. So it was just like
and that was, dude, watching that, like, even watching it, like, not live, but like just seeing it in the pay-per-view and him getting fucking dropped.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, a lot of
walloped from behind.
Yeah, and a lot of those shots were, some of them were landing flush, but, like, I mean, he was fucking hitting him. I mean, it was crazy.
I don't want to get punched by Sean Strickland.
No,
I don't want to.
No, I do not. I don't want to get punched in general, let alone by Sean Strickland or any MMA fighter for that matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like that's a good place to wrap it.
Yeah, it was a great episode,
Feel
boys.
good?
Yeah, I feel good.
Cool.
I feel real good. James Brown. Ha! Let's go.
So I just love, like, James Brown, like, fucked up in the interview. Yeah,
He's like yellow sunglasses on. Like, I feel good.
Yeah,
it's like, bro, are you all right?
High as a kite.
Yeah.
When is the last time you slept? Was it this week?
What week was it?
James, and that's why he's dead. Poor guy.
He was also old. He lived for a while after all that stuff. But anyway, so rest in peace, James Brown.
Yeah. R.I.P.
R.I.P. to James Brown. Thank you both. It's been a wonderful episode. Thank you to all of our listeners. Thank you to all of our followers. And this has been the Martial Mind Podcast.